Do not attempt to repeat or reenact anything in this report. This video is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Alien Wake Time. Submitted to erowid.org on December 22nd, 2013 by Abasis. About 75 milligrams of DPT insufflated. My friend ordered a lesser-known tryptamine off the internet from a research chemical website. The chemical name is N,N-dipropyltryptamine, or DPT. I was familiar with a few psychedelics at the time and had tried 4-ACO-DMT before, which I figured would be quite similar. I was an avid cannabis smoker as well, so I figured maybe I knew something about something. All right, boys and girls, there is only one place to start with this story, and it is from the beginning. Setting: nighttime, in a small room in the suburbs. I sat down at my desk and pulled open the drawer. Hidden under rubbish was the light, the connection, the powder. I pulled it out and opened the bag. It smelled pretty strange. I tore a page from a journal and laid it on the desk. DPT poured out in waves, forming a white shore across the dried plant sheet. On the page was now 75 milligrams of DPT, which was a guess because I did not have a scale to measure it properly. Erowid note: 2 samples of powder, even of the same chemical, with equivalent volumes won't necessarily weigh the same. For this reason, eyeballing is an inaccurate and potentially dangerous method of measuring, particularly for substances that are active in very small amounts. I would not recommend this. It is potent stuff. I took out a straw and insufflated the strange powder. Wow, what a burn. I drank about 2 giant glasses of green tea and landed myself on my leather couch. I felt myself sinking into something. It comes on fairly fast. I have not done DMT yet, but based on my research and listening to McKenna, I would say this is quite a different venture. My sense of time was already off, but I would say I could feel myself coming up after about a minute or two. My body slowly rose into an extremely euphoric feeling, something so elated and free that I had never experienced before and have not experienced again since. If the phrase "Cloud 9" was ever appropriate, this was it. After some moments, time was no longer an observable pattern. I started to feel my mind completely and utterly altered. I could feel the waveforms all around me flowing through me, and I felt as if, while still in my body, I was sinking into some sort of weird hyperspace, while still half existing in this dimension. My eyes were closed for some time, just feeling this honestly indescribable sensation, and then I opened them. This is when things truly got strange. I was sitting almost completely in the dark, except for the street lamp casting a faint spectrum of light through my window. In the chair in front of me, a figure began to appear, illuminated from the top of its head down to just above its chin, like a strange light shadow cast across something. It was staring right at me, not at the me I usually think I am, but at the real me, my true self. At this point, my ego shell had been slowly stripping away until I was completely naked. But it was not an uncomfortable nakedness. It felt like taking off dirty, rotten rags that I had been wearing since my induction into society. It was like being a newborn baby in the sense that one does not yet understand the reflections others project onto them to create a refracted perception of the self. I was pure soul, and this being could see right into me. But I was not scared. I was amazed and speechless. I can tell you what it looked like. A giant, elongated, dome-shaped head with huge pitch-black eyes, grey skin the color of dirty snow. And just like that, I cannot recall more. A moment passes, and I remember sitting and just listening in the complete silence to an extra and post-worldly symphony of vibrations, zooms and zaps and zips, all the music my creative God self could conjure. Anything, everything, it is all inside. I just did not know it yet. It hits you hard. Without moving a finger, I could create almost anything, and it was so beautiful. But at that point, I knew it was not really just me. Words can only paint a picture around the reality of the situation. Experience is real. Believing is now seeing. As I said, my perception of time had gone out the window, so my next memory frame is this. As I lay on my couch, I felt the biggest surge of sexual energy I have ever felt. It was like all the hidden energy around me was tunneling into my sacral chakra. I felt like I was on fire with emotion and energy. Then two fairies came to me and started caressing me. The rest I will leave to your imagination. Next frame, I am now in my garage, smoking a cigarette. I am at a supraconscious level, and my senses are the most heightened they have ever been. I am not exaggerating any of this. If anything, this is all an understatement. Smoking the cigarette was so bizarre, it felt like such an abstract thing to do. I could smell and taste every particle, and the smoke formed strange intricacies and fractals. Then the voices came. The only thing I can really say is that it was like there was a meeting inside my head of people who were not exactly me, but were part of me at the same time. Or rather, I was a part of them. It felt like alternate reality versions of myself or multiple spirit guides. A few of them were saying things like, this one, this one, this one's going to change things, don't you think? And then one lone voice was saying something like, oh, I don't know. Then a few were saying, this one will do great things. And again, in solitude, was the voice of doubt, until it stopped saying anything and became convinced that my soul was capable of something unique to my situation. Overall, I would say the experience lasted a few hours, but I am not exactly sure. Time warps when you are there, but you are still here. I would say it was one of the most mind-manifesting experiences of this natural life. I was not quite the same afterward. Although I have slipped back into my ego patterns, I know where I can find something special in my mind and in myself. Thank you for tuning in to this report. If you enjoyed what you listened to, feel free to like the video or subscribe to keep up to date and in the community.